Members Claudia Tenney of New York, Kevin Hern of Oklahoma. Claudia, the Houthi bombing was an enormous success. The left doesn't want to talk about that. The liberal media doesn't want to talk about that. I wish you would talk about that, and Kevin Hern also. I mean, for heaven's sakes, what do they want? Biden wouldn't do this, and Trump did it, and it was a great success.
Look, this is important, Larry. Look, Secretary Hegseth accidentally shared sensitive information that was, not classified, and they're calling for his resignation. General Milley shared classified information with the Communist Party of China, our greatest adversary, and they're calling him a hero. This is how ridiculous this is. There were successes with this, and it's obviously very important to stop the Houthis. So let's get on track and talk about the successes, not some mistakes that people make that, by the way, were not consequential in the end.
And Kevin Hern, President Trump today defended Mike Waltz, national security advisor, said, I'm not going to fire him. If you ever fired Waltz, then the left would go for every other scalp in the national security area. And that's why Trump is such a good politician.
Well, as my colleague was saying, if we started firing people, then Biden would have had his entire administration fired multiple times over. The fact of the matter is President Trump's looking into this. He's going to make a decision. I have every confidence he'll make the right decisions to move forward. The bottom line is, as you just stated, we went in and sent the message to the Houthis, more importantly to the Iranians, that we're not going to tolerate this firing on the American carrier group again. Some 100-plus drone and missile attacks. Anywhere else in past history, that would be a declaration of war when you're firing on a military asset of the United States of America. President Trump sent a message, a final warning to Iran to knock it off. So we're going to see what happens. But, again, he's spoken. We're going to see if the Iranians listen.
Yeah, I think the Iranian angle is a really important one, Kevin, 100%. Claudia Tenney, you're going to make the tax cuts permanent over there, and you're going to cut spending also. We're going to have tax cuts to get the blue-collar boom.
Well, absolutely. We've got to. That's our mission, is to make sure that we keep the tax cuts permanent. We're working on that with tax cap, obviously, along with my great colleague, Kevin Hern from Oklahoma. We're both business owners, so we know how important this is to the small business community and everyone in our region, especially from Oklahoma to upstate New York. This is critical that we do this. Otherwise, Larry, we are looking at the largest tax increase in decades, maybe in history, if we don't keep these tax cuts going. And they're absolutely critical to growth, along with cutting spending, the wasteful spending that went on during the Biden administration. If we can cut the spending and get the growth and unleash American energy, great that we have Oklahoma out there. I love being on with Kevin Hern, who's got such a great record. This is what's going to be the magic sauce for what's going to get our economy going, getting prosperity, getting security back to the United States. It's going to be tremendous. But we got a lot of work to do. Kevin and I are still in tax camp trying to sort that out.
All right, Kevin Hern, I'm not even going to ask if Claudia's ever been to Oklahoma. That's for another segment. But I'll give you the last word, Kevin Hern. Can we meet the April 11th deadline for both Senate and the House that John Thune has set? What do you think? April 11th?
I think we can. We've sent the message with the House with the slimmest majority, possibly in American history, we'd only be able to lose one vote. And we sent that over there 2 weeks ago now. And, Senator Thune's working hard. He said today that he's going to have a bill on the floor on April 7th. I know Speaker Johnson has been working night and day with the White House, Chairman Smith and others working to make this happen. I believe we'll get it done. The American people needed to get it done. The Democrats would love to raise taxes, $4.5 trillion in taxes on American people if left unchecked. And we're going to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, you two are absolutely fabulous. Thank you ever so much, Claudia Tenney and Kevin Hern. We appreciate it very much. Coming up.